I welcome you all to yet another exciting meeting of Roseburg speakers and storytellers. So, welcome you all guests. Nice to see all the members again smiling, energized. And I would like to request you to switch on your videos if you can and to keep yourself muted all the time so that there is no interruption. As you all know, this is Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers Club from District 7. We are a hybrid club registered from Oregon to say. Our president is Ayu, who is going to be joining us a little late. And in her absence, it's my pleasure to sort of start this meeting. I yet again look forward for a very exciting meeting because we have a very exciting theme for today. And to run that, we have a very, lovable, laughing, cheerful person whose presence bring lots of positive energy besides the gender equity, which Tiger always admires. So I'm very glad to introduce to you Ravi Shankar as Toastmaster of the day. So Ravi, it's all yours. You're welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster Yasmin. A very, very warm welcome to all of you to today's meeting. As Toastmaster Yasmin mentioned, the theme for today's meeting is inspirational women in your life. What made me choose such a theme, to ask? Well, today is the 7th of March, and tomorrow, the 8th of March, it's celebrated as International Women's Day all over the world. And that is why I chose this theme to talk about women in our lives who have inspired us. This is our way of recognizing them and sharing with the rest of the world what we have learned from the women in our lives. I've asked a few of our fellow Toastmasters about women that inspired them, and I'll be sharing what they've shared with me throughout the rest of today's meeting. But before I do that, I would also want to talk about a couple of women in my life who've inspired me a lot, and I want that I share about them and how it is that they've inspired me so far and how they keep inspiring me in the days to come. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. She is an inspiration to me, and the reason is about 50 to 60 years ago, back when most women in India were not really allowed to study, she revolted, I would say, and she made sure that she got an opportunity to study. Although her education was stopped only after a few years, she made sure that when she had children, she made sure, especially when she had daughters, that they were allowed to study and that they were able to graduate and get good jobs and stand up on their own feet and be independent. They did not have to depend on another person, be it a man or another woman. They were able to stand up on their own feet. And I think that is truly inspirational to me. Similarly, at the workplace, I've had some amazing mentors all throughout my working life, but especially amongst those have been two women. And they've inspired me a lot because they've taught me a whole lot about how it is that we should work with our colleagues, especially when we work with colleagues that are across different time zones, that are across different countries, and especially come from many different cultures. So I've learned a lot from my colleagues who have been mentoring me on this, and therefore I'd like to recognize them as well. Now, we have a lot of our fellow Toastmasters here. Those of you who've shared your inputs with me, I'm going to call those out. But anybody else who probably not had a chance to share so far, I would like to quickly give you an opportunity. If you would like to share about somebody in your life who's inspired you with the rest of our Toastmasters present here today, please do so now. And we'd be really happy to be able to recognize and celebrate those women. All right, I think I've given that enough of a pause. I'll come back to our audience and I'll ask them questions about this once again. Now, a typical Toastmasters meeting, for those of us who are joining for the first time or haven't joined in a long time, it has 3 stages or 3 parts to it. The first part consists of the prepared speeches. The second part consists of impromptu speeches, also called as table topics. And the third part consists of evaluations. We have a lot of role players throughout the meeting that will help us in running through each of these 3 segments. What I'd like to do now is invite those role players one after the other to introduce what role they'll be playing, and then we'll get started with our meeting. First, I would like to invite our grammarian for the day today, Deja Stanley. And before I hand over control to Deja, I would like to mention what she had shared with me when I asked her about inspirational women in her life. Deja said that she is very much inspired by her mother. And the reason why she's inspired is because her mom is logical, she is patient, and she is compassionate. These are qualities that are really essential in all of us. And I think we can learn a lot from Deja's mom. Thank you, Deja. Over to you.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Deja Stanley. I will be your grammarian for today. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is persevere, which means continue in a course of action, even in the face of difficulty or with little or no prospect of success. An example of using the word is, I will persevere through any difficulties in my life. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give a grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also a report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deja. I would now like to invite Haider, who is the R counter for the day and also a frequent guest at our club, to speak a little bit about the role that he's playing. Before I hand it over to Haider, I'd like to share the inspiration of his life that he'd shared with me. Haider is inspired a lot by his mom. She is very calm. She's always calm in under all circumstances. And she has a whole lot of perseverance. And that is something that we should learn as well in all sorts of situations. Thank you for sharing that with us, Haider. Please do go ahead and let us know a little bit more about your role.
Hello everyone, I'm Haider Ali and I'll be the counter for today. So as a counter, my duty is to keep a track of your sounds, like making sounds like or filling words like etc. Or maybe repeating the word once or twice. So that's my role today, and I'll keep track of it and I'll report it at the end of the meeting. Thank you. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Haider. Our next role player for today is our timer. And today, our original timer is not here, but we've persevered and we've been able to have Sarah, who's visiting us after a while, take up the role of the timer. Sarah, over to you. Please do let us know a little bit about your role.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Today, my role is to persevere through the speeches of our through the prepared speeches and also the impromptu speeches, and track the time of any other participants speaking here in the meeting. As you already saw, I will be changing my backgrounds to green when you reach your minimum time, which for the speakers is 5 minutes, and then yellow when they reach the time in the middle, which means that they have to start thinking about wrapping up, and red when they need to stop, which is at 7 minutes for the prepared speeches. For the impromptu speeches, it will be at 2 minutes, at 1 minute, 1.5, and 2 minutes. For evaluations, 2 minutes, 2.5, and 3. So, but I will be doing the same for Toastmaster of the Day and all the other participants. So I wish we have a very nice meeting and that we persevere to the end.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for that. When I asked this Toastmaster who's going to speak next about who was an inspiration in her life, she said it was her grandma. And she shared that her grandma taught her to be not judgmental. That's indeed a very interesting lesson. And it's very difficult to be non-judgmental in any part of life. So a great lesson indeed for all of us to keep in mind. With that, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Mary, who is the general evaluator for today, to let us know a little bit more about her role.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Ravi. I will be serving as a general evaluator for today. I will lead the third part of the meeting, which is our evaluation feedback portion of the meeting. And you've heard from my team that will help me in providing the feedback. I will call upon their reports, including the speech evaluators, which we'll introduce, I guess, right before we have the speakers. But in addition to them, we'll have all their reports, and then I'll conclude with a general evaluation of how the meeting went, things that we did well and things that we can improve for future meetings. That's my job as a general evaluator. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mary. So with that, let us segue over to the prepared speeches segment of today's meeting. Today, we have two prepared speakers. The first being Gabby Bonilla. She's going to speak about, the title of her speech is The Race of Life, and she is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Yasmin.
Ravi, Shilpa is in the room. Sorry to interrupt. The evaluator one is already there.
Okay, my bad. I missed that. All right. So we've persevered yet again, I would say. So I take that back. So the first speaker for today is Gabby Bonilla, and her speech will be evaluated by Shilpa. Gabby, would you like to do a quick audio and video check before we get started?
Hi, Ravi. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Gabby Bonilla, The Race of Life. The Race of Life, Gabby Bonilla.
Thank you, Ravi. Hello, fellow Toastmaster. Today I'm talking about the race of life. I say something. There is something that one learns from sports, whether it is practice in amateur or professional way. Every athlete must be focused on the end, on the goal, on the result. Consider athlete running a race. Your goal is to reach the end of the race in the first place, or at least to perform your best. In other words, since beginning, the athlete focus on the goal. The race of life requires a permanent effort, beginning from our childhood until our day or last day. One who doesn't learn is destined to lose the race, to be his last place, and to be passed by others. The truth is that in different ways, we must always continue learning, because life is all about constant learning. Our life is like an obstacle race, because life like a race full of obstacles that must be overcome. In an obstacle race, one faces obstacle like walls and moon pits that one has jumped over vertical ropes that over months climb. Similarly, in life, we might face illnesses, injuries, breakups, or relationship, or could get fired from our work. Besides this, there is another biggest obstacle, which lies in our mind. Many times people face fear. They are afraid of change. They can get stuck in a which job they don't like, in or a personal relationship that they know is going nowhere. I remember Albert Einstein said, life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is life is as if there were none. We must work constantly to overcome the challenges in life, continue our effort, and remain motivated despite our negatives as filters, advertising, and stagnant periods of your progress. Life in a race, so in our life we meet people all of a kinds. Some participants are going to compete at the highest level. They are very well prepared, yeah. They have been trying for years to complete and have a chance of winning. Other not so much, but keep in mind that we will reach a goal. And for everyone, for those who feel that are experts, and for those who don't the route and the obstacle along the way are the same. In a race, we have to give our best. We must run, jump, or climb. The same things happen in life. Everything is designed to take you out of a comfort zone. You find yourself overcoming one obstacle after being aware of your strengths or weaknesses, surprising yourself measure after measure, and reach your goal is finishes. For me is important talk about this topic, because our life begin with an arduous and competitive race. We cannot expect something to be easy, because nothing will be. Everything that we are going to experience after that first victory will be complex. We must live full and keep in mind that our well-being is our hands. We must prepare it, study, work, and leave nothing to change. Because if there is one thing we must be sure of, and that is everything will change. We can go wrong, will go wrong, yes, and the world will be ours. If we don't give up, you put constant efforts to make it happen. I tell you something, dare to give more in life. That's it. Thank you, Ravi. Welcome back to you.
Thank you for that beautiful speech, Toastmaster Gabby. Earlier, when I asked Gabby about who it is that inspires her in her life, she mentioned that she draws inspiration from her mom and her sister. And she said that she admires the courage and determination that they have, and she hopes to draw from them. Tying that back to Gabby's speech, as she said that life is, the race of life it's a marathon and not a sprint. She also said that life is an obstacle race. And I think to draw from what Gabby said, the courage and determination that we have while we go through this race, it'll help us a lot to overcome those obstacles. Thank you, Gabby. Our next speaker for today is Ishel, and she is going to present her speech, the title of which is Who Am I as a Leader? The pathways is Dynamic Leadership, Level 2, Understanding Your Leadership Style. Ishel, who am I as a leader? Who am I as a leader? Ishel.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Ravi. It's a glad to me to be here. Okay, yes, my level is, the purpose of this level is to know who is my style or my primary leadership. Okay, yes, well, but how can I know this? I know to know all the kind of leaderships that there are. And I searched, and in some places I found that there are 4 types of leaderships. In another source, I found 7, in another 10. So, how can I fix in all these kind of leaderships? Well, let me note you some of them. I will talk only 7. Because I say there are a lot, okay, about these 7. First, let me start with autocratic. Autocratic says, as do as I say. Okay, well, this is one. I think that most of us know about this. Then, authoritative. What's the difference with autocratic? Okay, the difference is that this, while engaging an energy followers along the way. Similar. Then we have passive think. Okay, this is like keep up, you can do, go, like as the sellers. Okay, this is another. Then we have democratic. Democratic left to the employees to know what they feel about the purpose, the aim, and they share ideas. Then we have a coaching. Coaching, they believe that everyone has anything good in their life. So they push this energy, this knowledge, and believe believe, and they have their ability to achieve their full potential of these people, of their team. Then we have the affiliative. People come first. Okay, it's similar like democratic, that when they ask to the team how they feel, and here pay attention and support the emotional needs of the team members. And the last, we have laissez-faire. Laissez-faire is like everyone do what you want. And they throw a lot of these members. We have, that is all of the kind of, I could say, of leadership. Also, I don't know, I think that most of you, have you ever heard about Stephen Covey? He wrote the book, The 7 Habits to Manage, to manage the leadership, something like that, sorry for the title. Okay, and he said that the most important leadership is like you can move in the different situations, that you have different kind of leader with a different situation and with a different kind of people. This, he said, that is the best leader. In my case, okay, who I am? Well, I can say like that I am as I am. I can change in the different situation with different people. I don't have this ability now, until now, but I can say that I am different. I am sometimes autocratic. Sometimes I say, you have to do like this, because I know that is the correct way. And maybe I can hear the comments of the other people. But in the case that I know that is the way, I am autocratic. And sometimes I am democratic, also affiliative. That I hear the comments of the other people that share abilities and also knowledge that maybe I can learn. So I think that I'm this kind of leadership. Okay. Also sometimes coaching, because I'm pretty sure that everyone is good. Everyone has something better. So I'm also I also believe in that, and I think that they can do something better with this ability. Okay, well, this is how I can say who I am as leader, and I would like to know in a moment who you are a leader. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you for that wonderful speech, Toastmaster Ishel. Toastmaster Ishel talked to us about different styles of leadership. One thing that strikes me that she shared to me about what traits that she looked for, or what traits that inspires her a lot, and which I think we need a lot, especially as a leader, is passion. No matter what kind of leadership style you follow, I'm pretty sure without passion, that style isn't going to get you anywhere. Ishel shared with us, or rather with me, and I'd like to share with all of you, that she has a teacher that had such a lot of passion for dance that she took up her passion for dance and moved out for a regular job, which was that of a lawyer, and she turned into a belly dancer because she wanted to pursue her passions, and that inspires Ishel a lot. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ishel. And that brings us to a close to our prepared speech segment for today. I'd now like to start our table topic segment. And before I call upon our table topics master, Alice, I'd like to share what Alice shared with me about people who, or rather women in her life who've inspired her a lot. Alice shared about her best friend, Jenny, and the fact that whenever Jenny has a goal in mind, she makes sure that she creates a plan and follows through till she accomplishes a goal. Thank you for sharing that, Alice. Over to you.
Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like an inspirational woman. Action is the trait of Jenny, Ravi. She acts all the time. She acts. I never act. It must have years till I act. I don't act, and I admire for her for that. Let's go to our impromptu speaking with women's inspiration. We have 1 minute for green, 1:30 for yellow, and 2 minutes for red. And let's start with Rukaya. Rukaya, are you there? Rukaya?
Well, yes, I'm there. I'm just attending the meeting because I'm traveling right now, so I won't be able to speak.
Okay, okay, thank you. Let's go to Kunang. Kunang?
Okay.
Hi, Kunang.
Thank
Kunang, I want you to tell me who is the most inspirational woman in your life and why? I know it's your grandmother, I think.
Wow. Wow, who is the most inspiration women in my life? I don't know, really. I think it began from the books that I read and the history. I like the Queen of Cambodia, Queen Interactivity. She is the wife of King Jayavarman VII that building the Angkor Wat that behind my background. She is a nice woman that inspiring her husband and encourage her husband to be the great king. I like her personality. She focused on education. That era, our kingdom is so famous and strong because our Cambodia, our kingdom have the nice couples. So I think a strong couple can build a strong nation too. What I don't like about our king is that it means like we are so ambitious. I don't know because he kill and he fight the other nation to make our land so big and huge. I don't like because we make the other nation suffering. And they are not happy. I don't like that. So I think it the karma that come back to us that make our country nowadays too small. But nowadays we must begin doing kindness again and do not want the other people or the other nations positions. We could respect the other nations position and love each other, love the other people as ourselves. Thank you. Back to you, Alice.
Thank you, Kunang, for that answer. Thank you. And let's go to Ayu. Are you there? Ayu?
Yes, I'm here. Hi!
Hi, Ayu. Ayu. Eleanor Roosevelt said, do what you feel in your heart to be right, or you'll be criticized anyway. What would you change in your life because of this quote?
Wow. Just follow your heart because you are going to be criticized anyway. Lately in Toastmasters, there is a contest season and also leadership season because they are looking for leaders to step up. One thing that I know or I learned through Toastmasters. Yes, I'm going to talk about Toastmasters. What else, huh? Why? Well, step up as a leader doesn't, and then have go through the election, one thing that I want everybody to know when you are stepping up, just in case you are going to run for a presidential in your country, it can be done. You are one of the citizens. And when you lose, what to do? So I tell myself, and I'm now share with you, every time you step up, make sure that our mindset is to help and for our personal growth. Winning or losing doesn't matter. If you give your effort 110%, you are still a winner. Because follow your heart, because you will criticize anyway. Alice.
Thank you. It's contest season that, and we need that. I think I have a problem with my internet. And then now let's go to Yoga F. Nugroho. I don't know if I say it right. Yoga.
Hello, nice to meet you all. This is my first time to join this meeting.
Hi. Thank you for answering. Is there a famous woman who inspires you in your life? And how?
Famous romance. It's a challenging question, right? Actually, I don't really like to read a book, so I don't really know about the romance. But I will take people say from Indonesia because I'm from Indonesia. If you want to get, if you want to achieve your goals, you have to be a resilient. I mean that if I think because reaching a goal have a many obstacles that we have to encounter. So we have to resilient with any problem that we might encounter in the future, and we have to keep it up our good work. And yes, being a resilient will make our way easier to achieve our goals. Back to Alice. Thank you so much. I'm so nervous.
Thank you, Yoga, for your answer. Nice to see you, and I hope we see you again. And yes, I want to go to Yasmin. Yasmin, if you could inspire others, in what way would you like to do it?
Okay, I think this smile is just because to set in the trust in what I believe is just to be the change that you want to see. So if I have to inspire anyone, I would not use the word inspiration, but if I have to communicate anything to anyone, I would like to apply it on myself first. How I picked this up is the story I was taught in my school. There was a small story, like one went to Gandhi with the child, with the kid. So the mother went with the kid asking Gandhi to tell the kid to not to have sugar because he eats too much of sweet. So Gandhi asked the mother to come a week after, and the lady went a week after, and then Gandhi told the kid, don't have the sweet, don't take sugar. And the lady asked, this is a simple thing I asked you last week, and you could have told him last week itself. And Gandhi said, but by then I was eating sugar, so I could not ask him to leave sugar. So I had to leave sugar first before I could ask him to leave sugar. So I try to follow this in my life to the extent possible. For example, if I would inspire anyone to say, have feel for nature, then that feel has to come from within me. I would also feel for nature, and then I would advise anyone to feel for nature. So I would strongly, in my lifestyle at least, try to live this thought that be the change that you want to see. And thank you very much for that very insightful question, because it helped me look inside. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you, Yasmin. I believe that you inspire others. And I wanted to do the questions to you, especially. And I haven't seen Sarah for a long time, and I have missed her, so I would like to hear from her. Would you like to answer to my question, Sarah?
Sure.
Oh, perfect. What do you think are the differences between an inspirational woman and an inspirational man? What would be the differences between a man who inspires and a woman who inspires others?
Well, for me, according to my experience, I have also been inspired by my grandma and by other women that had to fight for their rights to be there where they are, or that we have those rights to be here where we are now. So for me, when I compare a woman and a man in leadership or as an inspiration, for me, women means that they have to work harder, at least in the past. They had to be very disciplined. They had to know what they want in order to transmit that, in order to work hard for that they wanted, in order to achieve that. So that's one reason why I think it's different, the discipline, the hard work, and so on. And nowadays, I don't think it's very different, because I still see how hard it is for some women to still fight for their rights or still get some jobs, etc. So I really think that they are an inspiration just because of how they achieve differently from men. So thank you. Back to you, Alice.
Thank you, Sarah. Nice to hear you after so much time. And I believe that men from women are very emotional and men are very logical. So they do it in a different way, I believe. They aren't so emotional as women are. And I don't know if I have any questions, but I believe that I have one more. And I would like to hear from Christina. Christina, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's really nice to be back.
Yes, we are very happy to see you again.
Thank you.
Christina, I have a quote from Frida Kahlo for you. She said, "At the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can." What do you think is the inspiration here?
Gosh, that's quite a profound quote. At the end of the day, we can achieve much more than we think we can. I think it's really true. I don't know who this lady is. I'm not familiar with her. But I think...
She was a painter, a famous painter.
Okay. I think a lot of us don't really know how resilient we are until we're faced with a challenge. How well we can persevere, how well we can stand up for ourselves sometimes. There can be a lot of opposition. I'm thinking of Gabby's talk about life can be a bit of an obstacle race sometimes, and I do think sometimes I've sometimes seen bits of my life where I felt like I was treated a bit like a circus animal where I had to jump through different hoops. And sometimes I don't want to jump through different hoops, and I don't want to be a circus animal, and I don't want to be watched. Some of us don't like having somebody looking over our shoulder as we work. So we hear about in everyday life dreadful stories of people who go through awful things, whether it's what's going on in Ukraine right now, how men are driving their wives and families to the border to say goodbye and possibly never see them again. I can't imagine what that must be like. But when you're in a situation, sometimes you have no choice, and you have to build that resilience within you just to survive, whether it's going from day to day. So absolutely, I think it's an amazing quote, and it's so very true. I'm thinking of other situations in life. There's a friend that I'm thinking of who's going through some severe illness, and nothing you can do. It's you feel powerless, you want to help, but there's absolutely nothing that any of us can do. But sometimes seeing how those people in really difficult situations react is incredibly inspiring to us all. And I think that's what gets us through every single day of our lives sometimes. Thank you, Alice. Very profound question.
Thank you, Christina, for your perfect answer. And I believe I don't have any questions. I think I have to pass to Ravi Shankar,
yes,
or
thank you.
general evaluator. I don't know. Ravi Shankar, it's your turn.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you very much for those insightful questions. And I think that was really inspiring to listen to all of you speak today. A lot of takeaways for all of us today during this meeting. So with that, we come to the final segment of our meeting for today. And I'd like to call upon our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Mary, proceed with the evaluations. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ravi. What an exciting meeting that we've had so far. And now we get an opportunity to hear feedback on how each of the participants did. We'll start first with our prepared speeches. We have two evaluators. Our first evaluator is Shilpa, and she evaluated Gabby. Shilpa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Many congratulations to Gabby for persevering through the first level of Toastmasters pathways and moving on to the next one. Her speech today was about understanding her leadership style. I think I got it right. If not, then probably excuse me. But they say, but they say content is the king. Indeed, content is king. What she brought to the table today was really inspiring. It inspired us all to just keep running, swimming, moving forward in life, because challenges may come and they might be unexpected. So congratulations, Gabby, once again on the fantastic content that you served with us today. That was some food for thought. But if we take that content in perspective of the project objective, understanding your leadership style, I wished, and we would all say that it has to be more about you, about Gabby's leadership style. What would she have done in such a situation? Or what would she would have tried to do in such a situation? What kind of leader she would have been in face of those challenges? So next time I would suggest that look a little bit more closely, and then the same content, you can twist it a little bit to suit the objective of the speech. The second thing is delivery. The delivery is an important aspect in a Toastmasters speech, and you spoke so well. We did not really, I don't think you got many R's or arms, or you're not really stuck at any point. But sometimes it felt to me, I'm not sure if you were reading from something. Now, as uh, this being a second language, yes, we can use notes, but going forward, I would say if you were using, try to use it less. If you were not using, look us in the face, look us in the eye at your audience, and then take a little pause so that all your good words can get into their brain ears and ultimately into their brains. So if you just look at us into the eye after you gave the name of the famous athlete, just pause a little bit so that we can grasp it. We are hearing some things for the first time, and it's all so good. We don't want to miss anything. So give us a little bit of time, look us in the eye, and we will then cherish it for a long, long time to come. So Gabby, very good on the content and the flawless delivery of the speech, but make more connection with your audience and look at the objective of the speech closely. Back to you, Mary.
Thank you very much for that thorough evaluation. Shilpa, well done. And our second speaker, Ishel, was evaluated by Tiger. Tiger, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Miss General Evaluator. Welcome, everybody, and especially Ishel. There are some things to like about this speech, for sure. The first thing was the structure. It clearly had a structure. There was clearly a beginning, there was a body, and there was an ending. So good job with that. There was good information in the speech. She did talk about the 4 different types of leadership style. So it was a learning opportunity, or at least a reminder to us about what the 4 levels are. The thing I like about Ishel's delivery is it feels to me like I'm just sitting on the couch in my living room having a conversation. It's very conversational level, very easygoing. She has this natural smile. She looks comfortable. I did like that. It was a comfortable speech. A couple of recommendations to show, and for all of us. First of all, the beginning. It took you a little while. It took a little while to get going. I always recommend to people memorize your first 2 sentences. Once you get those first 2 sentences out, then you'll relax and you'll go. And have a grabber. Have something to get our attention right away. Even for an informational type speech, have something that's going to grab our attention and go, hey, wow, I really want to listen to this. Notes. You obviously were using notes. Now, this is an informational speech, and I get it. You can't memorize all 4 types of leadership and all those kinds of things. But if you're going to have notes, have them up by the camera so at least it appears that you're talking to us and not doing this, because it really takes away from your engagement with your audience. We want you to be talking to us. And you have such a lovely smile and such a nice personality. We want you to be talking to us and feel like it's between you and your audience. My challenge, this is a storytelling group, and I'm going to reiterate what Shilpa said. We want to know more about your leadership style. You gave us the 4 types of leadership. That should only take about maybe a minute at the most. The rest of the speech, we want to hear about you. Turn that into a story. Give us an example. I was working for so-and-so, and I did this and I did that, and I had this incident. And then say, this is, my example of being a Democratic was I did this. It turned into a story. Have fun with it. Because the objective is to talk about your leadership style and have fun with that. So if you do this again, I would highly recommend you do a speech like this and give us examples from your life of your leadership style. So overall, good. It was good information. I appreciate your delivery. I appreciate your language usage, but I would really like to see you turn this into a storytelling experience. Back to you, General Evaluator.
All right, thank you, Tiger, for your evaluation. Also excellent. Now I'd like to go and ask for the different roles, the reports from both our grammarian of all counter and timer. I'd first like to ask our grammarian, who has persevered through this whole meeting, making sure that we use the word of the day and reminded us constantly, well done, and let us know how we did in our use of the English language. With that, Deja, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mary. My name is Deja. The word of the day was persevere. Sarah used the word persevere twice. Mary used it once. Shilpa used it once. And Christina used it once. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. This is my first time being part of the meeting in 5 years, maybe. So thank you for putting up with me. The only thing that I really wanted to point out as far as grammar is use of synonyms, which is a word you can use instead of a different word, maybe that conveys a slightly different meaning, or is just another word you can use if you're trying to convey the same meaning, but you don't want to use the same word. Ravi, I wanted to comment on your use of the phrase a lot. And I think that there are a few different words that you could use instead. For example, when you said the women who have inspired me a lot, you could say the women who have inspired me enormously, the women who have inspired me significantly, the women who have inspired me the most in my life. There are a lot of different ways that you could use, that you can convey the meaning of a lot with different words. And that's it. Back to you, Mary.
Outstanding report, Deja. Well done. Thank you very much. Now on to our counter, which was Hadir. Could you give us
Hello.
our filler report?
Yes. Hello everyone. Everyone did really good, but I would like to suggest Gabby that your speech was continuous and everything was good about it, but maybe you can try a little more avoiding the word and persevere it as a goal, setting it as a goal and persevere it. And I'd like to suggest Ishal also that your speech was good, but somewhere in between there was some pauses, which if you improve, it will be it can be a better thing. Thank you. Everyone did great apart from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent report, also from our counter. Now I'd like to call upon our timer to see how we did on time. For that, Sarah, our timer, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, congratulations to all our participants. I only have some comments in some participants who were not who were above time. For example, our prepared speeches were very good, 550, both of them. And then in our table topics, all of them were around 1.5 and 2 minutes. Be careful with yoga, only 1 minute. It's the first time you speak. Try to do it at least until the yellow light. And Kunan, you took 2 minutes and 16 seconds, so be careful there. And Christina, also more than 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. For the evaluations, both of them were on the red line. So they took Chilpa 3 minutes and 25 seconds, and Tiger 3 minutes and 20. So be careful with that. And all the other participants, very good. Back to you, Mary.
Excellent job as timer, Sarah. Now for my general evaluation of the meeting. I have so many things to talk positively about this meeting. It was flawlessly how a Toastmaster meeting should run. And it starts at the top with the Toastmaster of the day. And I think he did an outstanding job as a Toastmaster of the day. Things that he did that were particularly important that allowed our meeting to flow so well were making sure people got here earlier. And if there were changes at the last minute, we got those filled so that when we were ready to start, it was seamless to our guests. Well done. And I like that he reached out early to ask people about character traits of women that inspire him, which is right on the theme, but it allowed him to have filler pieces of information. In a much larger meeting, that's what the Master of Ceremonies does, fills that time to make sure things run smoothly. So having little tidbits to talk about is just spot on how a Toastmaster of the day should run a meeting. And so with that, everything else just seemed to flow equally as well. Kudos to Alice for asking first people that didn't have roles that are members. That's what we want to try to do. We want the opportunity, everyone to have the opportunity to speak during the meeting. So we want to challenge the people that didn't have a role first. Great job. She always starts with her singing that just lifts you up. It was really inspiring, and it went along with the theme of the meeting, and there were very thought-provoking questions. The only suggestion I would make, Alice, in the future when you're a table topic master, is if you have a guest, particularly a first-time guest, they may be a little bit uncomfortable about answering a question. So I would just recommend that you ask them, would you like to have a question? So they have the opportunity to say, no, I think I'll just listen today. But our first-time guest, Yoga, said, yeah, and he plowed on and he answered the question. So well done, Yoga. And like I said, great table topics. Also, we had some very inspiring speeches. They did well. I want to comment about the evaluators. They were very supportive, gave a lot of great things that happened in each of the speeches, but they made sure they gave several concrete examples of things that the speakers can take away to improve on future speeches, which is just what an evaluator can do. I think if they have a thing, they used to call it the whitewash award, is when somebody would say, all this good stuff, good stuff. I would be in a contest for that because I feel like this is just what a Toastmaster meeting should be. I love this club. I want to, I'll do one more shout out, and that's to Yasmin, which is in her table topic. She did something that I aspire to, and I hope the rest of us will be challenged to do it. She used the storyteller, which is the mission of this particular club. We want to try to use storytelling. She was able to incorporate a story in her answer for table topics. And I'm going to challenge you in future when you have an opportunity to speak to try to use our storyteller abilities in our responses. Great meeting. So glad to be here. Great to see so many new faces that we haven't seen for a while. Wonderful guests. Just A1 perfect meeting of what a Toastmaster meeting should be. With that, I'll return to our Toastmaster today, Ravi, to close out our meeting. Over to you, Ravi.
Thank you for that wonderful evaluation, Toastmaster Mary. Before we close the meeting, I would just want to recognize a couple of other inspirational folks from our lives that were shared with me, which I couldn't speak about earlier. Ayu spoke about her mother and how much she's inspired her. And the one trait that she mentioned was the amount of patience that her mother has, especially when it comes to being patient with ourselves. And that's a trait I think we really need in trying times. So thank you for sharing that, Ayu. I hope each of us remembers to be patient, not only with people around us, but with ourselves as well. Tiger spoke about his sister. I'm not sure if it's the same sister that's also a vegan, and he spoke about her being very, trying at times, but this time what he shared was really, really interesting. He mentioned that especially when there's a lot of challenges, she's resilient, and that's something that we heard throughout today's meeting. how resilient his sister is something that inspires him, and how her determination helps her overcome challenges. And I think that's also something that we take away from all of those folks that inspire us. I would like to thank all of you, wonderful ladies. I think we've got 12 of you here. Uh, Apart from all of the ones that have inspired us, I would like to mention that I draw inspiration from each of you, all 12 of you, and those of our ladies who have not been in this meeting today. I draw a whole lot of inspiration from each one of you every step of the way. Thank you very much. Wish you all a very happy International Women's Day. And with that, I'd like to hand it back to Toastmaster Yasmin.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, for making this a wonderful meeting, a memorable one before we step into the Women's Day. Ladies, we are all here to cheer it up. Congratulations to all of you and to all of us. And let's celebrate the empowerment women has always have had, but which is being more recently recognized, or at least being more recently, being integrated in the common discourse. So with this, I really feel very happy to close the meeting in the way it's a cheerful one and a memorable one as it connects us with the women empowerment. I would officially close the meeting as I have opened the meeting, but at the same time, I see that our president is here, so I would like to invite her in case she has any announcement or business to be done. So Ayu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. It is not in my culture, actually, to have a lot or giving a lot of appreciation. So when I say you are all just amazing, it is true and it is from my heart. Only two things that I would like to encourage everyone: Yoga, Deja, Haider, all our guests, and also all our Sarah, also all our member. Renewal time is near, so it's time. Due is due. Time to pay our due. From April to September, reach out to Michelle, our treasurer, and for the one our guests. It's time to join as a member because it's near April. It start April, so it's just until September. So time to join. And with that, I would like to adjourn the meeting first. Then we can chit chat a little bit. Meeting adjourned.